Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Rooted to Rise podcast. So excited to introduce some amazing women who have stepped into their stories and shared it. Rooted to Rise is the title of our new book that we are all releasing. And really, it's about being rooted in your story and rising to the occasion of sharing your stories authentically, intentionally, and with purpose. So today I have the beautiful Amy Hicks, and her episode is going to be a little bit different than everybody else's episode because Amy is actually the one that introduced me to CBD. So this is like the beginning, the very start to it all. And our journey started about 7 years ago. And I can't believe that it was almost 7 years ago. That's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun, when you're helping others, when you're spreading awareness, and when you are just collaborating with others for a shared purpose. And that's to spread the message of hope with cannabis as a whole. And there's her beautiful t-shirt. So Amy, would you like to introduce yourself for a few minutes?
Hello, everyone. And you are so right, Rachelle. This is special because it is really about the ripple effect and the linking arms, which we're going to get to. And I'm so honored to have been on this journey with you the past 7 years, planting our roots literally and growing. My name is Amy Hicks. And yeah, I've just been on this mission for so long, but the plant really has been in my life much, much, much longer. And that is what my story is going to reveal. And I can't wait to unleash more of that with everyone because we all our stories are all, what makes us us, and we should own that. And I'm so proud to be here. So I can't wait for what we talk about today.
I'm so excited. So just to give you a little bit of a background, some history is that this idea kind of came to fruition last year, just kind of hit me upside the head. It felt very like it just needed to happen. It needed to happen now. And whoever wanted to hop on the storytelling train with me, I just kind of put the invitation out without expectation. And these beautiful authors, just we all landed in a purposeful manner. And so really when you're starting to share your story, I always tell people get ready because it is a journey in of itself. It's one thing to put little snippets in social media or, get on the phone with someone and share those little things, but diving deep and getting into those roots of why it all began to in the beginning, like for the first place, in the first place is what is so important. Root work of all kinds is so imperative to get to the why and the how and all of those questions that we ask ourselves, which is part of why we went with this beautiful title, Rooted to Rise. And so just a few questions of what made you even just say yes to begin with, to be a part of this book and really dive in deep to sharing your story.
Yes. So, well, obviously, you are the reason that I even said yes in the first place to this very amazing idea. I remember when you first brought it up with our tribe and our community, and you felt very called to do this because, it's so much more. We've always said it's so much more like you start something for one reason, but it becomes so much more. And I think that I just want to thank you for encouraging us all and coming up with this idea, because I knew it was a yes for me. Because how could I not be in an anthology about this plant that I'm so passionate about, but most importantly with the women who have really allowed my mission to continue, and for us to come together, and the impact we've made, it's huge, it's monumental. So I could not say yes.
I'm so glad you did. What were some of the feelings or the thoughts that came up inside of you when you first started sitting in front of the computer, or knowing you, it was probably pen to paper. At first, like, what were you feeling when it was like, okay, it's go time. I'm going to share this in a different way than I ever have.
Yeah. Well, I think what came up is it really allowed me to do some reflecting. I think we can get so caught up in life and forget parts of our story. And that's what carries us through to who we are today. And so for me, as I started writing, I was really able to have just such gratitude for everything that leads to everything. And I also was able to see how much the cannabis plant has really been present in different chapters of my life. And that is for a reason. And I know that this book is just another part of that chapter of that book, really, of each part of how this plant really is so purposeful in my life. And so yeah.
I love that. When you were writing and sharing your story, did you share it with anybody close to you, any friends, family, that you were doing this? And if so, what was their reaction to you telling them that you were sharing your story?
Well, I, of course, told my husband and my sister and my parents, and all of our hemp tribe knew, right? And so it was exciting. I know for sure there are other women in our hemp tribe that wanted to be in the book too, and they will be in the future, I know, in another series. And so just feeding off of their support has been huge. And yeah.
I think it's so
And
imperative to have that support system, whether it's one or many, to just kind of give yourself that extra, like, external encouragement that, like, yes, there's a reason why I'm doing this. And, in the hard, going to them and saying, oh, I want to just, like, not necessarily give up, but like, I just need to put this down. And just having that loving support is so important when you're sharing your story and you're getting into those vulnerable pieces and you're feeling kind of exposed. So I love that you have such a huge support system.
that's what I think is so cool about the anthology is you're not writing alone.
Yeah.
um, it's good for us. We meet once a month and we can talk about, like, hey, what are some struggles? Are you having writer's block? Because that was me. I definitely had to come back and step away a lot because it can get overwhelming, where it's like one of your one of the challenges was like getting thoughts and words out of my head and on to paper. And so it's good to have that support and community. And of course, you and James offering guidance, that's been huge. But as far as like letting anyone read, like along the way, you said when I first told people, I didn't let anyone read parts of it
Yeah.
yet. So
Yeah, it's kind of exciting when everybody is finally done with their chapters and we're pulling it all together. I can't wait to just sit in everyone's stories.
same,
I'm saving it because
same.
with an anthology I did last year with 21 other women, I decided to just wait. And ironically enough, I really didn't start reading it until I was on an airplane ready to go, like, to Erie, Pennsylvania, where we had this big event. And I just wanted to kind of be in that space, on the plane ride, so that I knew what their stories were before I got to meet them in person. So I think there's just magic in the waiting,
Mhm.
in terms of like knowing bits and pieces of people's stories, but then just being in that total energy of reading everyone's together. Very excited, and that's exactly what we are looking forward to all of you experiencing, is that beautiful
Yeah.
collaborative energy that we're putting into every single word and every graphic and every detail of this book, because this book is coming from a place of some of the hardest stories you will ever read in terms of experiences and such. And so super excited about that. You talked about challenges a bit of having writer's block and such. So were there any other challenges that you'd like to share with maybe somebody who just is like sitting in the waiting of, is their story worthy of sharing?
Hmm. Yeah, that's really important. I think even sometimes journaling on it can be helpful, because sometimes we can think that we have to write a certain way. And when you write the way you speak, I think that's when it comes through the most authentic. I think that's when people can really feel you. And so for me, I've always journaled, and I think that that can help with some of those challenges, and to also not over critique yourself. I know for myself, I can tend to do that, but it's really helped me to just get out my thoughts and then go back. Get out my thoughts, just dump them, and then go back and and say, where can I maybe um, take something out, or what's not needed, or where do I need to elaborate more on. So for me, that, like I said, some of those challenges were just figuring out what, getting out those thoughts and feelings, like stepping back into some of those moments actually, so that you can really allow the reader to feel what you're feeling and to be in that moment. I think that's when it tends to make the biggest impact. And so giving yourself space and grace, stepping away and coming back to it. Um, and then just accepting the advice and help from your publishers.
Yeah, and I think I love that you brought that up, because something that is near and dear to my heart as someone who has stepped into this storytelling space and publishing books and all of that is, it's really important to allow the authors to have their voice in their chapters or their books or whatever platform that you're using on that storytelling, not having that preconceived idea of what the book should look like or what the theme should be. Because ironically, through reading everybody's chapters, my husband, who's the editor, he said we found a theme, but we didn't talk about that. We didn't go in with expectations. We wanted that free flow, that space to have everybody's voice be theirs. And when you read the book, and chapter by chapter, you're going to hear totally different voices. And that's what makes it so special. It's all about getting to know the individual that's sharing their story. And, you're going to identify with some people or different aspects of everybody's stories, and really being in that space with that person who spent that time, that dug deep into those roots and wanted to give you that gift of their story. And that's really what it comes down to is, it's all of us wanting to come and say, you're not alone. You have a support system. We're a tribe. All of us as people, we're a tribe. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to the old time storytelling of, these were my challenges, these were my successes, these were my opportunities, and just bringing it all together to let people know that they're not alone, and to be a word of encouragement. For me, when you came to me and said, try this, because you knew my story at the time, and you'll read more about that in my chapter, because of the relationship that we had developed before that, I trusted you. I said yes. I did have a few questions, but I said yes. And it led me on a path that I never thought I would be on. And all the hundreds and thousands of people that, because we used our voices and we weren't afraid of, at the time, it wasn't even legal in all 50 states. But we weren't afraid of that. We just stepped into our truth, into the truth, and we were voices for the plant, and we're going to continue to do it. And I think that's just a beautiful journey. And I love that you shared that it's a parts to a whole. That's what I took from what you shared. There's a bunch of parts in sharing your story and then bringing it together as a whole. And you can't even fit everything in one chapter. So there are going to be many books on this, but in everything that we do, just honoring the parts to the whole. And it's just so important. So what words would you use to describe the experience now that you have turned the chapter in? It's almost completely edited. It's about to be released out there into the world. What would you, some words of advice or encouragement that you would give to people about that vulnerable space of it's down and that's going to be released? Are there any like feelings or anything going on inside of you about that?
Celebration. Like for me, I couldn't feel like I could fully celebrate until I got that final draft in. And for me, it was a proud moment
Yeah.
because it was like, I did it. I got it out and it's the way I want it to be. And now we get to really promote it and we get to really allow people to have an interest because this is going to impact a lot of lives. You're going to take something away from any story. There's going to be something in there that's going to resonate with you. A big theme in my story is being a voice. And you can start being a voice by as simple as sharing your story. And that is what we said from the beginning, even with the plant, is just share how it's helped. Share your story. Be a voice. If you know something is helping, you've got to talk about it. And so we've got to use our voices. We've got to, what do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? And your story is a huge part of that. And so I just believe that everything crosses people's path for a reason. And it's what we do with that. And so I would just encourage you to own it and encourage you to start writing, start journaling, and surround yourself with people that are going to be able to support you and get it out there because it's needing to be heard. We need more real stories and less of this make believe world that I feel like we're in, and that's what's going to connect us, and that is what's truly going to make it's a ripple effect. That's what I said at the beginning. It is. You might inspire somebody else that has never heard of something or known how to dealt with something or where to go. And so just get it out there and celebrate it because it's yours. It's your story and nobody else has that. So own it.
Exactly. Your story is your legacy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how legacies were passed down for so many years and continue to be. But we really need to get back to that root of
Yes.
legacy sharing, and those are the things that when people leave this earth, we remember. We remember the stories of whether it was together, stories, we created together, or stories they told us about themselves, and really kind of defines us as humans. It makes us human. In the world of AI, we need to get back to the
Mm-hmm.
basics of real authentic storytelling. So thank you so much. I would love for you to have the opportunity. I mean, you've been sharing from your heart this entire time, but is there anything else you want to share from your heart about any aspect, whether it's the book writing, about cannabis, about really your journey for the last 7 years, anything that is just, you want to just get it out there and share it? Is there anything you want to share with us?
Well, one thing that's coming to mind is that it really, we can take things for granted, but it really is such an honor to know that I get to be part of this monumental book that we're putting out there with the six of you women. I don't take it, lightly. It was perfectly divine how everything came to be, and I can't wait to read it. But no, it's incredible that one plant, which is my business name, One Plant One Love, but it's crazy that one plant can be the gateway to so much, not just you know, the healing, but the friendships, the community, the opportunities. This plant has brought so many opportunities to my life and experiences, different collaborations, just planting like a hemp farm, travel speaker opportunities. Like, it's incredible that one thing can provide so much. And um, I just can't wait to shed a new light on it for so many, because it's amazing that it's back and we are going to be able to use it in so many ways. And I think that this book is going to again break stigmas, which is what we've always wanted to do. And you have to have it in a book form. Censorship is so prevalent anymore, and so if you've got something important to say, then get it down on paper, get it printed, get it out there, get it in the hands of others, and share it. You know, we can't wait for you to share this, and that would be our biggest ask, is to just get this in the hands of your loved ones and share it out, because our messages um, are going to touch someone's life. So we can't wait for it to start circulating.
Exactly. I love all of that, especially the censorship part. Uh, we're being watched and censored every day in a capacity that we're not even aware of. So yes, book writing is so, so important. Well, I thank you so much. It feels, I don't even want to call it a full circle because it's not closed, it's continuing. Like you mentioned many times, the ripple effect, and the fact that 7 years later, here we are writing a book about something that just started as an opportunity, to see how it would affect, our daily lives, how it would support our bodies and our mental well-being and all of the things. And the fact that we've never given up on ourselves and we've never given up on others. And I think that that alone speaks volumes. I've seen a lot of people come in and out of being convicted with their voice and then backing away. And the fact that the 7 of us are convicted in our message is just power in and of itself. So thank you, Amy, so much for this. And I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to share the book and share the podcast. So thank you all for listening. Until next time.